Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on a couple of simple pair of earrings using some Celtic symbols. This is because I'm going to be doing a Celtic festival in a few weeks, and we have to have 30% Celtic themed items, so working on Celtic stuff. So like I say, two simple pair of earrings today, and I think you're going to like them. So let's turn down and we will work on them. So this is for the first one, and I know I sound a little bit off still this morning from my tooth extraction. It's still a little swollen, but it's not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and we're going to hang it from the middle loop here. And then we're going to take this Connemara marble. Yes, this is real honest to God Connemara marble. I have it I get it from Ireland and have it shipped over to me from a company I discovered when I was over there. So then we have two ear wires, of course, and then we have two larger and a really teeny tot for you know, I don't need that teeny tot the more I think about it, because in fact the only one I need is this one right here. These were going to be for hanging the ear wire on. I no longer need them because I put the marble in here and chose to do that instead. So there we go. So the first thing we're going to do is take the one jump ring and hook this guy into here. And then we'll take these. These are actually old head pins. I don't use them anymore. And so I'm going to use them as just a 3-inch piece of wire by cutting the heads off. There we go. They're gone. Now that's just a 3-inch piece of wire. And then I will directly wire loop onto the loop through the Connemara marble and then directly up onto my ear wire. So let's get started. So first I will grab my little jump ring here and open it up and put our little Celtic knot inside of this. Now this is going to be a bit tricky because it doesn't want to, it's much heavier, so it doesn't want to sit in here. So I have to see if it's closed. Yep. So then this will hang like this, as you can see. Ooh, isn't that cute? Now we'll get the second one and put it in. Now you'll notice I dropped the big piece down to the mat so that the jump ring would come out easier, because it was wanting to roll over and I couldn't get hold of it. So in doing this and bringing this over as much as I can by grabbing hold of the other one in a slightly closer side, I can push this down some, get it over, and bring it around. Didn't quite get it all the way yet, so we'll have to work on that. I think it's there now though. Yep, it is. So there is our two pieces put together. Now this was double-sided, so I didn't have to worry about whether it was front or back, whereas this is, as you can see, is just one-sided. So this is the front. So next we want to take one of our wires, and since we're only putting one bead on it, we're going to go pretty far down, close to halfway. We'll get our bell making pliers, use the little one, go up and around and over, bring her all the way. Oop, come on, you're rolling on me. Here we go. Make sure she's lollipop shaped. And then I'm going to slide this onto here. I left a little bit of a gap. I'm not sure if I left a big enough gap. Yep, I did. There she goes. So then we want to grab it with our pliers, right where this comes together here. Flip it over. And now I'm going to push this wire up because I want it to be almost right across from where our loop is, because that way it keeps it from dropping way far down on our base wire and just being really low. We don't want that. So we'll put like 3 or 4 wraps in here. This is 3. I have plenty for a 4th. But I think I'm going to cut it off right there. So there is 3. Excuse me. Hold of it, cut that extra wire, and then we'll tuck it in. And a lot of times you'll need to get hold of it again to tuck it, but it looks pretty good. See if we're straight more or less here. See how it tips a little bit there? We want it to be straight, so we'll carefully go in and just do a tiny bend. And there she is, pretty good. So then we'll put our marble on. And because our ear wire goes this direction, we want our wire to make a loop like this rather than like this. So we want to go over here and have this facing us and bend this over. So now we want our bell making pliers again. Up and over on the little one. Bring her around. Come on, you. I think these are still wires. They're a little bit tough. Leave a slight gap so your ear wire can go through. Now, because this is facing this direction, and we need it to face this direction, you want to put your ear wire in backwards. Because once you open it right here, once it gets to the opening here and goes around, there we go, it flips. See? So that's so now we'll put this right here like so, and we will wrap the top wire. Whoop. Okay, I think this is close enough to cut it right here, and then we'll tuck it in some. Looks like there we go. And there is earring number 1 finished. Isn't that pretty? And very simple. So now we'll do the same with this one to put it together. So we want to go about a little over, oh, not quite halfway down. That should do it. Up and around the bell making plier, over here, and leave yourself a gap. Feed on your piece. Hold the wires where they come together. Now I flipped it because I like to work from this hand. Move that wire up so it's straighter. And now we'll make 3 loops because we had 3 on the other side. Yep, we have 3 there, so we can cut this excess off. Now I try to cut my excess off at the back of my earring so it doesn't show as easily. It's not a requirement, I just prefer it. So now we'll see how straight we are here. We're a little bit crooked, so we'll straighten this up. Looks pretty good now. So marble on. Now we want to go the opposite direction, so we'll go here, fold her over, get your mandrel or your bail making pliers up and around and over, bring her down and over, straighten her up, feed your ear wire on backwards. There we go. Grab here. Now it's already going pretty straight, so I really don't need to straighten it anymore. And then we need to wrap. Oops, that slid down a little bit. See how I can put my fingernail in between there? So we want to take and grab hold of this right here, and then almost don't have room, but we do, so we'll move it up just a hair's breadth, and then continue our wrap. Now I think that this is where the other one was at 4 wraps. Yep. So once we get this to the back, we'll cut this off and tuck this in. And that finishes off our second earring. Okay, this is tipped back a little bit. See how it's tipped? So we'll just take and move it with our fingers a little bit, and earring number 2 is finished. Isn't that a beautiful pair of earrings? I really like these. So that is pair of earrings number 1. So now we'll get this stuff out to make number 2. We'll put these aside. Now for number 2, we've got those head pins again that we're going to cut the heads off of, because we're going to just use them as a piece of wire instead of a head pin. So we'll do that first. Cutting all of 4 at once was a little bit difficult. Might not want to do that. So this piece, as you can see, is a connector, and this is just a charm. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, and then the connector goes above it, and in between I'm going to put one of these pieces of cork red marble. Then above this I'm going to put this little cork red marble rice bead, and hook them all up. So let's put these aside. We'll need 2 of these. because we're going to hook to here and here with the marble in between, and to here and the ear post with this marble in between. So we can go about halfway down, maybe even a little further on our wire. Well, no, not quite. We want it not quite halfway down. Up and around and over. Bring her down and around, leave a gap, straighten her up so that it's more of a lollipop shape, like so. Put our first charm in. Now we want to hold it where the wires come together, push them back closer to each other again. Make sure this is pretty much straight outward, and wrap about 3 times. Now if you wanted, you could go 4. This one's spread a little bit, so I'm going to push it up. Come on, you. Behave. Okay. So then we'll cut this off at the 3. Tuck it in. Now we want to check if it's straight. It's looking pretty good. Drop our marble on. And again, our wire is this way, so we want to bring this like so. So now we'll wrap this up just like we did the bottom. Bring her around and leave a gap and straighten it so that it's a lollipop shape. Now we'll drop this in. Now this one is two-sided, but this is one-sided, so it goes in backwards. Come on, baby. So when it comes around, it's the right direction. So hold the wires where they come together. This one's already straight out, as you can see, because it's right beside the plier there. And we'll wrap it, I probably will wrap 4 times. Okay, so we cut the excess off. And tuck it in. Okay. Now it looks like this, and you can see it's got a bow in the middle, and it's also not tucked all the way. This probably happened when I was wrapping it though. So you want to take it and push it so you've got it straight, just like so. And this one is a little off over here as well, so straighten this to each other. And this is a little bit forward, so it needs to tuck backwards just a hair's breadth. Get out of the way, charm. Still a little crooked here. There we go. Tuck wasn't very good. So here's the first section. Now what we're going to do is take this wire here, we're going to put it through here, get the little rice bead on, and then hook it to our ear wire. So again, not quite halfway down. bend her over, the loop, go around, bring her down, bring her over, leaving a gap, and then you'll want to straighten it. Okay. There's not a very big gap there, so we're going to pull it apart just a little bit. Come on, you. Okay, I didn't leave a big enough gap, so we're going to have to open this up some, just like you would a jump ring. Just twist it just a hair's breadth. There we go. So put the wires like so. Push this up a little bit because it's a little bit down, and then wrap. Now let's see how we're doing here. We need one more. Come on, don't go over the top of the one below you. Trim the excess and tuck her in. And this one is up a little high, so I will push it downward as I tuck it, and we'll see how it's looking. So since it is up a little bit, put the narrow part of your pliers in that loop, and then get the upper part right at the wire and then push down. There we go. Now we'll put our rice bead on. This is going to be a long earring due to the wraps in the middle. I could have used simple loops and it would have been a shorter earring, but there we go. Now since the ear wire needs to go this way, we need to put our loops the opposite direction of the other one. Actually, the opposite direction of the other three. But anyway, up and over. Get it with here. Up and around our loop here. Bring her over. Make sure you leave a bit of a gap as you tighten it over here and straighten her up. Okay, now there is our earring. We're going to put our ear wire on. Remember, we want it to face backwards when we come in so that when it comes together like so, it's facing the front. So then we'll push this together. And we will wrap this one up. As I say, a simple loop would have probably taken a little less room, but I like a wrapped loop. For one thing, they're extremely secure. You're not going to get them off unless you cut them, which is a pain in the rear sometimes if you mess something up, but and there is our first earring. And this one, oh, I don't have that tucked in very well. So let's see if we can get it to tuck better. That looks better. So there we go. There is our first earring. As you can see, it's pretty long. Like I said, if you want it shorter, you could just jump ring these two together as opposed to putting a bead in. Or you could use a simple loop. But let's see how long that ended. It's a 3-inch earring, so it's a shoulder duster, but it is so pretty. So there is earring number 1. Now we just want to do the same thing to get earring number 2. So we will just get doing that. As you can see, I really bent this one, so we need to bring it forward. And now that's good. Though this wire's bent a little bit right here now, but that's all right. We can straighten it just a little bit. Next is our round marble piece. So we make our loop just like always. Bring her around, bring her up, leave our gap so that we can feed in our there we go. So now that we have that on there, hold the wires and wrap. Trim this off. Didn't want to do that, but they're right here at my feet, so easily gotten. And tuck it in. Okay, now I was going to say I probably bent the wire, but I did, but not atrociously. Now that we have that straightened out, get the last ear wire, eye pin, bend it. Sure, bell making pliers up and over and around. Bring it down, bring it over, leave a gap. And make sure it's lollipop shaped. Okay. Now we need to put this guy on. Bring our wires back together and wrap him 3 times. Now we'll cut the exit. It's not very much, just a little bit, but still got to cut it off. Unless you want to finish wrapping to the end, but that's entirely up to you. Now, I can see I have this a little tipped, so we're going to straighten it. There we go. Rise speed. And now we want to bend it this way for our ear wire. So over like so, over and around, bring it down, come over, leave a little bit of a gap, straighten it to the lollipop shape, and feed our ear wire in backwards to the design. Up. So there it is. Get our pliers, put our wire back together, and wrap it up. Oh, come on, grab hold. So we'll now trim this off. And tuck it in. Well, it looks like I need to hold it to tuck it in because it doesn't seem to want to tuck in. Okay. Okay, let's straighten our wires out here. So a little tucked forward. There we go. And there is earring number 2. So there is our 2 pair of earrings. Let's bring them down where you can see them better. There's number 1. Well, that was number 2 actually. And this is number 1. So I hope you enjoyed making these 2 lovely pair of earrings with me. I certainly like them. This is the first pair we made. Very simple, but very nice. And then the second pair, a little bit more intricate, but not much. And again, a really pretty pair of earrings. Now this one looks like it's turned a little bit, so I will straighten it up right now. Let's see. You're supposed to be okay. Okay. In case you're wondering what the problem was, this one, how we have them going opposite directions up here at the top loop was turned about halfway over, so it wasn't sitting straight. So now I've got it sitting straight. So there is our really pretty second pair. So I hope you enjoyed those. This is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.